It's part of the commitment.
We are live.
All right. So in our last session, you guys had made it to Feathergale Spire. You had headed in that direction after investigating some burial mounds, some cairns on top of a hill that a shepherd from Red Larch had told you seemed strange. They weren't there, less than a month ago. Seeing the tower off in the distance, and footprints and a bit of a scuffle that indicated perhaps flying mounts had headed out that way. You guys made your way to the tower. Reaching the base, you were greeted jovially, actually, by a member of the Feathergale Knights, one Savra Bellabranta. This name being familiar to Aranor, as he had been asked by his order, I believe in Waterdeep, to be on the lookout for this woman, and that should he find her or her location, her family were hoping to recover her, to bring her home. But upon finding her, you find that she is quite happy where she is, amongst these mounted aerial knights known as the Feathergale Society. She bids you enter and tells you that you guys have come at a great time. They're about to feast this evening to celebrate 10 years since the founding of the society. You guys come in, you wander around, you're told to make yourself at home, and you do so, checking out, some of you checking out the Arboretum, others, having a look around the tower. I believe Starsha wandered into a locked room, only to find that there were acolytes, perhaps, inside, in the process of getting changed. You were introduced to the Lord Commander, whom you met on the pinnacle of the tower. And he welcomed you to join him and his fellow knights at the feast tonight. And you did. It was very good food. There was some minstrels playing. He had discussed some activity by what he calls cultists of stone that have been causing trouble in the area, and he seemed to have a personal vengeance or vendetta against them. Your meal, however, was interrupted when a knight came into the room and shouted that a manticore had been spotted. All of you were invited to join in on the hunt, and 3 of you took up the offer. Moss, Aranor, and Tox decided that they would join in on this hunt, while Taladar and Starsha decided to stay behind. The 3 of you went below and were introduced to and given mounts, flying mounts, to join in on the hunt, and you made your way out into the skies. You quickly spotted the manticore, and after a few spottings and skirmishes, doing some damage, the manticore landed, and quickly 2 of you followed to the ground, while the 3rd decided to jump from his flying mount to land on top of this manticore. Unfortunately, a series of very bad rolls meant that he missed. All in all, the hunt ended with the killing of the manticore and the removal of said creature's head by one Aranor. Meanwhile, Starsha and Taladar stayed behind in the tower and did some investigating. Making their way through various rooms of the tower, they found themselves finally in the room of the Lord Commander himself. Taladar headed for a desk that was covered with paperwork, books, ledgers, and quickly found some information. A letter written from one... I don't even have her name with me. Who styles herself some sort of queen. I believe it's Arisi Kalanoff. He decided to take the scroll and the pouch that it came in to give to Aranor. The other member of the party, Starsha, is looking around the room for anything that stood out of interest that could be lifted, finding her way to a locked chest. Upon unlocking it, inside was found a series of potions, some personal effects, clothing, a couple of scrolls, and a large pouch of gold. Deciding that it would be too suspicious to take everything, she opted to take the unrecognized potion, and I believe both of the scrolls. While deciding what move to make next, the sound of the hunting party returning is heard above. And when boots are shortly thereafter heard on the steps, the two quickly decide to hide. Starsha opts to jump into the large wardrobe, while Taladar chooses to go out the window onto the small roof just beyond. And that is where we left off.
Sorry, Dark, there was one other key event.
Okay.
Moss made peanut butter.
Oh, of course. So that is where we're going to pick up. 3 of you are down below, having just arrived back at the tower in the stable level. Taladar finds himself out on the short roof, and Starsha is hidden away inside the large wardrobe in the Lord Commander's room. That is where we will pick up. Mere seconds have passed. The door to the wardrobe quietly closing behind her. The door to the Lord Commander's room opens, and in steps the man himself. He heads over to the large desk, removes his gauntlets, and replaces his personal spyglass on the desk. He heads back out the door, but not before doing a brief look. Furrows his brow slightly, and then proceeds back out of the room. Starsha and Taladar, what are you doing?
Well, that was
Taladar.
disappointing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, Taladar's got his back pressed to the against the outside of the tower, just to the side of the window there, and he's listening, and at hearing whoever it was exit the room, he exhales and glances around to see if there are any flying knights that might have spotted him. Do you want me to make a perception check?
It is currently nighttime. It is dark, and the mists have risen from the valley below. Give me a perception check at disadvantage, please.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my character sheet. I have like 15 windows open. Did I close it? Oh, no, there it is. Hey, I found it. Perception at disadvantage. I will have to roll that again because apparently it didn't take my shift click. There you go, 13.
With a 13, it is difficult to see. You definitely can't see anything below. Definitely not to the valley basin. You can't even make out the floor. And looking around above, you don't believe you see anything.
Well, good. I'll just lean and look in the window and see if Starsha has left her hiding spot yet.
Starsha, what are you doing?
Disappointed. I had a whole plan in case he opens the closet. It's so sad. Alright, well that's good.
Are you staying in there or are you stepping out?
No, when he left the room, did he close the door behind him?
Yes, he did.
Alright, I will carefully step out of the closet.
Okay.
I will also slightly open the door to make sure nobody's out there.
The door that leads to the exterior of the room, it's a very small room. It is only filled with the circular staircase and 3 other doors. There's nothing else of interest in this small room. You hear sounds coming from below.
Right, but there is nobody right outside the door that would see me come out, right? Okay.
No.
Alright. I'll walk out, and if I go up, it just goes up to the platform where they were.
Yeah, the
they were
floor
watching?
above leads to the pinnacle where you have been before. And then the next floor below is where the Great Hall was, the dining room.
Alright, I'll just sneak back into that room down below.
Okay. And Taladar, you hopped back in the window?
Yeah, I'll upon seeing her, cross over to the door and go through.
Wow.
I'll jump back in and follow.
Okay.
Of course you would.
Why wouldn't I? Where else am I gonna go?
Power. Going out the window.
Okay, so you guys are heading back down to the next floor. Let us move to the bottom floor, where the other 3 are. You 3 have returned, each bringing your flying mount into their designated section, dismounting, and exiting the stable. What would you 3 like to do? There are several other knights down here. All of them having, of course, returned from the hunt.
Are we being ushered anywhere, or is there just kind of people milling around?
There's kind of people milling around. They're all sort of congratulating each other, congratulating you. Definitely on, because I believe you got the killing blow and then, of course, cut off the Manticore's head.
Moss is just gonna hang up by the hippogriff and try to, I guess, converse with it in a limited fashion and take notes.
Yeah, the hippogriff looks at you as if it understands. And while it makes some strange squawking noises in return, you have no idea what it's saying, if anything. Tox, what are you doing?
Tox will walk around near Aranor. Are you still carrying the head, Deebs?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cheer up and be like little wingman and celebrate Deebs. Like, oh, did you see him cut off his head?
Nice.
Let's make haste to the Lord Commander with our victory.
The knights tell you you can leave the head down here if you prefer, rather than drag it through the tower. It has stopped dripping somewhat, but it is quite grotesque.
Yeah, I'll leave it. I'll sit it down somewhere.
Aranor,
What, you don't want to show off the trophy? Come on now.
the story's better with the head.
I agree.
It's up to you.
No, I'll leave it down there.
Okay. So
I'll pick it up.
Okay. The knights clap you on the shoulder and usher you upstairs to join them. And all of you find yourselves reconvened in the Great Hall. The Lord Commander greets you as you exit the doors into the grand dining hall. Several other knights, a handful of acolytes, and others are amongst the group, and they all give you a loud cheer as you enter the room. The Lord Commander comes over to you, Aranor, and claps both hands on your shoulders and says, "Well done! All of you, well done! I hear you were the one to strike the killing blow."
It was an epic victory.
Ah, excellent. Well, this then is yours. And he presents you with the ring that he had on his finger. The one that he said he would give to any who could bring back the beast's head.
Nice.
Looking at this ring, it is an ornate sort of signet ring. It looks like it has some garnets in it. And while you're not one for fancy jewelry, you do get a sense that this is quite valuable. You can have a better look at it later, or perhaps get one of the others, Starsha, perhaps, to give you an accurate estimate of how much it is worth.
Okay. Thank you, my lord.
There is much food and drink still available. Things have been rewarmed. More alcohol and mead and wine has been brought out for all of you to enjoy. There's much retelling of the events of the combat. It is a sort of loud, jovial atmosphere in this room. The minstrels have struck up music once again. What would you all like to do?
Moss breaks out the peanut butter!
Oh boy.
What do you eat it with?
Everyone have a taste. Savor it, please.
What is it?
I don't know.
Yes,
Why
you
would I
do.
eat it?
Yes, I kind of do. It's my attempt at peanut butter.
How do you eat it?
I grab a good berry, dip it in the peanut butter, and toss it in my mouth. Tastes great with the good berries.
There are breads and crackers and all sorts of assortment of stuff on the table. You could dip something like that in it, or use a knife to spread it. Do any of you try Bry's peanut butter?
I'll try it. Does it taste like actual peanut butter, or does it just taste like?
As I recall, it was kind of gritty. It's not best, and Moss kind of has a guilty look, and it was my first attempt
Yeah,
to
I
get
was going
better.
to say, Moss, make a... What would this be? Let's go performance. Make a performance check.
Oh Jesus.
Mm.
It is edible. And that's pretty much all any of you would venture to comment.
So it's like shitty, separated, unsweetened, organic peanut butter.
Yeah, it wouldn't even have really had a chance to separate yet because it was just made this afternoon. It's like mushed peanut paste, and it's not very smooth, and it's not very smooth, but it's not chunky either. It's gritty and it's quite dry.
I'll
It's
spit
like
it
the
back out.
natural peanut butter.
So I pull out my jar of good peanut butter and say, this was my first attempt, but this is what I will learn to make one day. And I give everyone a taste of the good peanut butter.
Are you giving any of the knights or the Lord Commander a taste?
Do I have enough? A third of the jar, I think is what I had.
A third of the
so
jar.
I'd
You
say
have enough for a
Yeah.
teaspoon each.
I probably have not much left at the end, though.
No,
You-
you've probably got like a quarter to half a cup left.
Do you share some with Taladar too, or no?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, maybe he has a peanut allergy.
Moss is going to give a skew look at Taldar and shrug, and yes, we will share some.
On first bite of the peanut butter you made yourself, Taladar will he'll just kind of chew and chew, and then sort of through a half stuck shut mouth, he will just his eyebrows will go up, and he'll just kind of nod, and really without smiling or anything, he'll just say, it's good." And you probably would get the hint that he's not really being truthful about it.
How would I tell? So do I have to make a roll?
What's your
Insight.
passive insight?
11.
Yeah, then you don't.
No.
You wouldn't even
Roll
have to
insight. If you roll deception, he can roll insight.
Okay, because his passive beats it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just roll insight.
The
Yeah,
hell,
You
Brian?
think he's that's good.
That's
Like
an
an
intelligence
intelligence
save.
save.
In all honesty, it wouldn't matter because he'd be appreciative. But he does pass with a little bit of the good peanut butter and say, "This is what I learned to make." And I'm going to relate to the group that searching for peanut butter is the whole backstory of how I was given to it by a merchant, and it's kind of what got me wandering until I found the farmers that I had known in years past have disappeared. So it's the what started me on my journey. This little jar, brown stuff.
Yeah, after tasting the much better merchant provided peanut butter, none of you have really tasted anything like it. And it's up to you whether you guys like it or not, but it is definitely well crafted, and if you are into that sort of thing, it's quite good. The Lord Commander, after trying some, also says, this is I have not heard of such a thing. This is quite good. I might have to track down a merchant or who is someone who can create this. It is quite good. What are you rolling?
Rolling to see if I liked it. Roll a d20. If I got 11 or above, I like it. If I got 10 or below, it's not my thing.
So you guys party on into the night. At some point during the feasting and merrymaking, Savra comes up to you, Rin, and pulls you aside, asks if she can have a word with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Of course. What's on your mind?
She pulls you off sort of away from the others and says, we're so glad that things went well. You and your group have performed wonderfully. The hunt went exceptionally well. I believe I can confide in you. You seem a trustworthy sort. The Feathergale Knights, we have somewhat of a secret mission. The Lord Commander and most of the other knights are attempting to master elemental air to annihilate Waterdeep's enemies. I could put in a good word with you, with Thurl, the Lord Commander, to see if he could, recruit you or some of your companions into the Feathergale Knights. We could definitely use people such as you. Waterdeep, as I'm sure you know, is full of corruption, and it has long been the Lord Commander's desire to remove this corruption from Waterdeep. And so I'm sure he doesn't mind my saying so. We have allied with this cult of masters of the element of air in order to learn their abilities and their magics to take back with us to Waterdeep and deal with its enemies.
I see.
Is this something perhaps you would be interested in?
So you're allied with the air elemental cult?
Yes, in order to learn some of their secrets. And while I don't hold with most of their beliefs, it is definitely the Lord Commander's will that we learn as much as we can. He finds them and other cultists quite distasteful, but it is a means to an end.
I see. Let me speak to my compatriots.
Of course.
I will let you know.
While this is happening, the Lord Commander, you've sort of spread out, all of you, throughout the room, and Thro Moroska comes up to you, Taladar.
Oh boy.
Says, I noticed that you did not join in on the hunt.
Oh, no, I purchased a scroll from your provisioner and thought it wise to spend some time deciphering it.
Yes, of course, very good. I too am on the search for knowledge, whether that be spells or abilities. I admit that lately I have developed quite an insatiable appetite for knowledge. He sort of looks to the left and right. I must admit, where I have gotten such knowledge is, well, it is unsavory. However, sometimes the ends justify the means.
And Taladar is just gonna a wry smile spreads across his face, and he just nods. I understand. Of course, the pursuit of knowledge and through it power is well, can be dangerous at times, but I understand. I wouldn't hold it against you. Tell me, what have you learned?
There's several, I don't know, cultists, evildoers, that have found themselves in the Desserin Valley as of late, causing more and more trouble. These cults of stone, more than most, have been a thorn in our sides. I believe that they are harboring evil, and I would love to have them investigated. I do have further information if this is something that you and your group would be interested in looking in on. I will, of course, give you time to converse with your compatriots and decide.
Taladar is just gonna kind of glance over in Aranor's direction, and he says, I would admit pursuing these evildoers, for me, is a selfish goal. I would take what power they have and use it for my own purposes. But we would have to find a way to sell this to our upstanding friend, and he glances over in Aranor's direction. What evil deeds do you know of that they've done that we could use to fuel our hunt?
I'm sure you know. Have you mentioned to him that you've come from Red Larch? Any of you?
I'm sure we have. We definitely mentioned that we dealt with some cultists there. I think.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I did.
That's right. You told him about the whole opening and underground. Yeah. Okay. He tells you, I'm sure that you know of several people going missing in various points in the valley.
Of course.
In addition to this Mirabar expedition that you speak of, I am sure that they have a hand in this. And while I can't prove it, I do have information that leads me to believe that this earthen cult has been transporting goods and prisoners by means of waterway. I believe they have been trading downriver with a large keep, and that is where some of their prisoners have gone.
Interesting.
It definitely bears investigating further.
Yes, of course. I appreciate the information. Tell me, who have you allied yourself with? There are... I don't mean to be forthcoming, but there seem to be folk about this place that are not of your order.
He sort of sighs, and a slightly distasteful look crosses his face. Yes, unfortunate necessity. What do you know of Waterdeep?
That's a good question. So, Teledor is from Kalimshan, far to the southeast, and has been in this area for maybe a couple of years, but has really not made it to like a major city. So he knows the name Waterdeep. He knows that's where Aranor is from. Do you want me to make a history check, or is that enough?
Yeah, no, make a history check.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you know of Waterdeep. You know it's a big city. You know it's on the coast. And you would know that Waterdeep is well known for its political intrigue. He says, Waterdeep is known for its political intrigue. There is much corruption, much members of society, nobility, most of them are decent, good folk, but however, a growing majority have an ill reputation. I mean to gather what resources I can, grow our society, and grow our abilities, and hope to cleanse Waterdeep of this corruption. In order to do so, I have unwillingly, but necessary, I have allied myself with this group of practitioners of air magics. You might have seen some of them throughout the tower. We have been learning a great deal from them. In exchange, we provide shelter, we provide trade, and we guard the entrance to their underground hiding place.
Teledor just nods and He reaches up and puts his hand on the Lord Commander's shoulder and says, and kind of glances around the room cautiously. May we speak further, privately? It won't take long, but there are words I would have with you that I would not have others hear.
Just you and him?
Mm-hmm.
He says, yes, of course. Follow me to my quarters.
All
And
right.
the rest of you see the Lord Commander, followed closely behind by Talador, head through the doors and up the stairs.
When we arrive and he shuts the door,
Mm-hmm.
Taladar is going to reach in his pack and produce the scroll, the letter that he took in its case, and the scrolls, and hand them to him. And he's going to say, I must apologize for taking these from your quarters. I have not looked at this, and he hands him the letter case, and the scroll cases. He says, I did have a look at these. I must confess I did not trust you or your knights, but I've had a change of heart. I want you to have these, with my promise that I have not shared their contents with anyone.
Make a deception check.
Yeah, I guess because I probably read that
You
letter aloud to Starsha.
You showed it, or you said it to
Fuck.
Starsha.
That's not good.
You made your way into my quarters and lifted this.
Well, you did say we could go anywhere that wasn't locked. And it was just sitting on your desk. You should be more careful with these sort of things.
That doesn't mean that you should have lifted it.
Oh,
You were
boy.
given free reign of the tower, of course, but not to go through people's belongings.
And I'm returning it with my apologies before I showed it to the righteous one. He just kind of... the corners of his mouth curl down when he says that. I seek
He sort of-
power, and I seek alliances with those who have power. And I don't really have an aim beyond that. I'm still finding my way. I was...
Yeah, he snatches the case out of your hand and
Taladar will just hang his head apologetically. And if he doesn't snatch the spell scrolls back, Taladar will take them and go place them on the desk. I misunderstood. I thought you were dangerous people. Not to be trusted, but...
We are dangerous people,
Uh-oh.
but not to you and your group. Look, I understand being cautious, and I understand why there was a lack of trust. I myself have found myself unwilling to trust. Definitely these cultists we have been, unfortunately, allied with. Keep the scrolls. Consider it a payment of sorts for looking into the connection between these cults, and perhaps going and investigating this keep down the river. Find out what the connection is there.
Taladar just nods and bows deeply. Your will shall be done. And he picks the scrolls back and tucks them into his robes. And he looks at the letter case and just, again, looking at it, says, your secret is safe. It will go no further. And
That
he's going to go
woman.
straight to Aranor and fucking tell him when he gets the first chance.
Yeah, he says to you, that woman. Did you say you hadn't read it?
I'm not sure. He probably. It's hard to say. I
Okay.
think he would have at minimum said this is very important and Aranor needs to see it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he would have. You know what? I could leave it up to Starsha. Would you, if Talador didn't read it because he is kind of a guarded fellow sometimes, would you have asked? Because if you'd asked him what it said, he would have read it out loud. Or would you not have cared?
I thought he showed it to me. I'm pretty sure I read it.
Okay, then you've read it, and my deception check of 9 stands.
Well, yeah, but you have read it, is what I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, no, I've read it for sure.
Okay. No, but I mean, does the Lord Commander know that? Did you tell him that you read it, or did you say I haven't read it?
I said I didn't show it to anyone.
Okay. He's going to say, that woman styles herself a queen of sorts. She is deluded, but she holds tremendous power. I care not for her means, and the great majority of her actions, but I cannot doubt the abilities that she wields.
I'm gonna ask him for a description of her if he doesn't mind elaborating. Like, have you met her? What is she like?
As I said, she styles herself somewhat of a queen. She is taken with the Avariel, and styles herself as one of them, although I believe she is merely an elf.
Merely. He'll just kind of stop and bite his tongue.
I mean no offense, of course. By that I mean she is only an elf, not a winged elf.
Hmm.
She does boast a pair of wings, but they are no natural wings. I have met with her in person only once. Our communication is usually by missive.
Well, perhaps I can work to earn your trust such that someday I can meet her as well.
Very good. Come, let us rejoin the others. And he opens the door and gestures for you to step out.
I will do so without entirely turning my back to him. I still don't trust this guy.
Okay.
I trust this guy less than ever, but I'm definitely showing him that I still don't fully trust him.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll proceed back to the gathering. And having taken care of that business, I'm now not in as much of a rush to talk to the others. I will wait until such time as we're given chambers to stay the night, or we leave for the evening. But I am seeking an opportunity to privately talk to the party.
Okay.
So we saw Talador leave. Did we see him come back? Do I know him coming
Yeah,
back?
they've both come back into this room. They were gone for maybe 15 minutes.
I am going to roam around and start gathering gather my peeps up.
Yeah, you gather your people up. One of the knights that you were out on the hunt with comes up to you and says, quarters have been provided for you. It is 2 to a room. We do have a couple of spares at the moment upstairs. You will have to double up, as it were, but they are quite spacious, well-appointed rooms, and you are more than welcome to them.
Is there any room in Savra's quarters?
Are you asking me?
Wow. I'm kidding. I do say that, but I do say I'm joking.
The knight gives you a sort of a shocked look, and then sort of a knowing smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fetching, isn't she?
Indeed, indeed.
Yes, I can show you and your companions to your quarters if you'd like. The evening is getting on now. Some of the knights have left to their own quarters. The Lord Commander himself has bid you all good night, and has once again congratulates you on the hunt.
I do make it known to the others that I'd like to have a quick meeting in one of the quarters.
Okay. Yeah, so he leads you back upstairs. Two of you, I believe, have seen into one of these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
In your investigations while the hunt was ongoing. So the room beside the Lord Commander. He gestures within. The beds are well appointed. They are double beds. However, there's only two of them. Now, you guys, some of you might carry bedrolls or whatever. But this is the only room that he can provide you. The rest, of course, being filled with knights, acolytes, and perhaps some of these cultists. Let me just move the rest of you in here.
Well, I don't sleep, so I'll just find a chair somewhere or a quiet corner.
What kind of a roll would I make if I'm deciding on a course of action? Like, I guess wisdom.
What do you mean? You're trying to decide on a course of action?
Moss is trying. Moss was very keen to note when Talador, this was those earlier rolls I made to the chat, that when Talador left and came back, and Moss is deciding whether he wants to confront Talador.
I would roll a d100, and 51 and above, you decide one way, and 50 and below, you decide the other.
That's what I did with my peanut butter roll. I just rolled a die. High was one thing and low was another thing.
There's a whole Stephen Colbert joke in there. Talador, Moss kind of moves towards you, and he looks like he's about to say something, and then he hesitates and walks away.
Talador will just watch, and keep an eye on Moss.
Okay.
But he's curious, but he's not going to push it.
So you guys are shown to this room, and the knight sort of nods at you and bids you good night, and closes the door behind him. This door can be locked from the inside.
I'm immediately going to sit down right on the floor in the middle of the room, open my spell book, and I'll just say, I need 10 minutes. I'm going to cast a spell. It'll take a bit. I'd like to see if there's anything magical in this room before we speak. And he'll just start mumbling.
Sorry, are we all in the same room, or we went to different rooms?
No,
No.
you're all in the same room.
Yeah, I asked us to gather, Bri, before we separate.
I think this is the only room we get, right?
Yeah,
Well-
I had said 2 rooms, but this is the only room that you get. It has 2 beds that are large, which y'all got to share.
Oh boy. I nod at Taladar and say, "That's a good idea," because I have some things to say as well.
Yeah, so 10 minutes passed. Taladar sits on the floor, concentrating, scribing, muttering under his breath. And what is it you're casting?
Just casting Detect Magic is a ritual.
Okay.
And so when it's done, his eyes will snap open, maybe with a little bit of an arcane gleam in them, and he'll stand up and immediately start pacing around the room, looking for anything that gives off any sort of magical aura.
No, you pace around the room. You are not picking up anything magical in this room. You're not picking up anything magical beyond the north wall. So you think that there's probably nothing of magic in that room. When you get close to the room that you know borders the Lord Commander's, you do get a small ping of magic somewhere in that room, but nothing substantial.
Right. I think we're safe, at least from any sort of magical spying or scrying. Then he'll turn to Aranor and say, "Why don't you go first? I had an interesting conversation with the Lord Commander, but let's hear what you have to say."
Before we begin, let's take a peek out. I open the door slowly and just kind of take a peek outside.
Yeah, there is not much outside that room other than the large circular stairwell. A path around it, a hallway just wide enough to walk around, and 3 other doors, 2 of which you can see to the left and the right, and the third is opposite yours on the other side of the stairwell.
And my spell lasts for 10 minutes, so I am continuing to sort of pace around slowly, looking all over the place for any sort of signs of scrying.
Okay.
Yeah. My main thing was just to make sure no one was outside the door.
No one's outside.
All right, so close the door back up. And I say, so I've had an interesting conversation with Savra. She spoke of recruiting us to fight corruption in Waterdeep via allying ourselves with a air elemental cultists, which is kind of rubbing me the wrong way. It seems that they are in bed with air elemental cultists.
They most definitely are. Taladar will do his best to, from memory, recite what he read. He'll basically say there was a missive on the Lord Commander's desk from a Arisi Kalanoth, a self-styled queen of the air element. Speaking of an altercation that they had with the Black Earth cult, whom I believe might be affiliated with the group from our town, mentioned capture of a prisoner, mentioned a noblewoman from Waterdeep and further interrogations, and a sacred stone monastery. She expressed curiosity in what their enemy is planning next. They're closely associated with these air cultists. In fact, I believe that we've seen some of them here within this tower. The Lord Commander expresses distaste in this alliance and assures me that they've joined with these cultists to gain their power. I'm not entirely sure how truthful he's being about that, or how swayed they've become. And looking at Starsha, Taladar will say, "I returned the letter and the scrolls. I'm not sure how effective my apology or my ruse was, but I have been," and he pulls the 2 scrolls out, "I was gifted these in advance for work rendered, and that work is to investigate these Earth cultists further within the valley below." He kind of looks around the party. He's like, "So it appears we have work to do."
How long has it been since we arrived in Red Larch?
We spent 2 nights in Red Larch, I think.
Yeah, and you've camped out a couple of times. I would say 6 total.
So like almost a week.
Yeah, since you all met, I would say it's been on close to a week.
Okay.
Something interesting you just said, Taladar. So you say the noblewoman from Waterdeep. So that's Savra. That's who I've been tasked to bring back to Waterdeep. And the wording of interrogating has me concerned.
I'm perplexed. Perhaps they're speaking of someone else, because she seems relatively content here. Unless you've heard otherwise from her in your... And he kind of cracks a grin. Private discussions.
No, I agree. She seems fine, but that's just odd wording. Has me a little concerned.
Hmm. Well, we have no evidence that these air cultists have done anything wrong. And Maraska seems to indicate that the Earth cultists are the ones behind the disappearances, perhaps even the Mirabar delegation. That they're... Well, I think he thinks it's up to us to help them find out. We have an opportunity to play two factions against each other, or ally with one to take the other down. This could be a dangerous game.
Yes.
But I want to meet that elf, his queen, and I want whatever power she has.
Just to be clear, he specifically said, she is not my queen.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah.
But that's what she
That
calls
he-
herself?
You know, she calls herself a self-styled queen, and that he has no use for her or her cult other than the magics and the skills that they can provide.
Yeah, and I didn't trust that, and I forgot to make an insight check. So
Yep.
Not that, I mean, my insight's -1, so what's the point? But I don't really believe anything he says. The only thing I believe is that he took his letter back and let me go without locking me up or killing me. So there's something there.
Starsha, Tox, Moss. What are your thoughts? What do you think about all this?
Moss is just on the edge of the bed, rubbing his head. You people from towns and cities. Shakes his head.
We all came to Red Larch looking for people who were missing. Now we're chasing cultists across... How far?
Well, the Earth cultists are responsible, we're being told or under the impression that the Earth cultists are responsible for the disappearances of the expedition and so on.
But now we're looking for air cultists?
No, air cultists are here. The Feathergale is allied with the air cultists. But, I see what you're saying, though. Taladar wants to go see the... Okay, I get it. Where is this air cultist? Where is this queen?
Nobody has said.
Ah,
Yeah, he didn't reveal her location.
okay.
but
So right now... Oh, good, sorry.
I believe he can help us find at least the Earth cultists, and potentially those they may have taken. And perhaps that's enough.
He also told you that their part of this transaction with the cultists is they provide shelter, they provide trade, and they provide security for their hideout, which is somewhere below.
Sorry, the Feathergale provide security?
Yes,
For the air or the Earth cultists?
the air.
Okay.
So it appears our next goal, for now, would be to head to the Earth Elemental. There's a stronghold down the river.
Yeah, I mean, if Taladar has conveyed
That's what I was-
everything of his
did he say-
conversation,
Yeah, did he say?
Yeah, I mean, I would have basically told them everything that he told me.
right? So yeah, he, from what Taladar has conveyed, the Earth cultists that the Feathergale Society clashes with on, it seems to be a regular basis. He has information that indicates that they have been trading kidnap victims and people, slaves, trade, loot with somebody downstream. They've been transporting things by way of river someplace downstream, and he thinks they've probably been going through this keep that's farther down the river.
Starsha, you've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
I don't trust anybody.
Hmm.
Throwing a dirty look at Taladar.
Moss makes a big sigh, and perhaps the night of rests will provide us wisdom.
Sounds good. Before I go to bed, there's something I want to do. So if anybody
Okay.
else wants to do anything, I feel like I'm
What is
taking
it
up a
you'd
lot of
like
time.
to do? Yeah, it's about probably 10 p.m., 10, 11 p.m.
Is there any kind of drinking here, like wine or anything like that?
Not in this room, but you know that you could go down to the kitchen and get some. Or send Moss. He seems to have buddies down there.
Before I get going on this, does anybody else want to do anything?
Go ahead.
Tox would just ask Taladar if there's a bucket or something around, if he could fill it with water.
There's no bucket or anything in this room. You know that there are... Well, you haven't been in the Arboretum.
Moss
But you
points out
would've-
that Tox could just stand by the window and get doused outside.
You also would have told him there's water downstairs, I'm sure.
No,
Lots of it.
no, Moss wants to see him doused.
All right.
Is it raining outside?
No. It is cold and very windy.
I'm not sure what Moss is saying.
You're asking Taladar to create water, right?
Yes.
So, you could stand by the window and kind of get tidal wave of water thrown at you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were telling me to physically go outside.
I can't create
Well, I
it.
mean, we don't want to
can
get
only-
all wet inside.
I can't create it. I can only control it,
Ah.
and I also don't have that cantrip right now.
Then Moss begrudgingly tells Tox about the water downstairs.
I would go
Mo-
look for water then before bed.
Moss
Yeah.
will go with Tox downstairs, and we want to talk to the to that chef or cook and learn everything you can about where peanuts come from and where you can find more.
Yeah, so Moss tells you that in the Arboretum, there are several large vats and barrels of water. And Moss heads to the kitchen. I think,
And
to
several
discuss-
interesting trees and plants. Watch
So-
out for the prickly one that stings you.
So the poison frog's going to bathe in the drinking water and kill everybody, and then we take their stuff.
Well, you don't know that they drink from that water. It's for the plants.
He should find the drinking water and bathe in it.
Oh dear.
So Tox is going to go look for some water. Moss is going to go down to the kitchen to learn more with his newfound chef friend. Starsha, are you doing anything, or are you just gonna call it a night?
Yeah, but not with the stinky guys in the room.
Well, I let Starsha know that she can have the bed, and I'll sleep on the floor.
Yeah, I don't need to sleep.
Oh,
Then fuck you. I'm taking the bed.
I'm taking the bed.
I'm gonna go for a walk.
I
Okay.
did want to ask Starsha if she took anything from that room.
Maybe. What kind of
Starsha,
accusations
roll
are
a-
those?
Roll a
I don't-
deception check.
I
And
don't
Galadar,
want.
roll
Well,
insight.
I'll just say I don't want what you took. I just want to know if you took something, because he will eventually figure it out, and that might be a problem. Nope.
You have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't believe her anyway. I don't believe anybody, but
Mhm.
I don't know. So I'll just tell her that if you took something and he finds out, it's going to become a problem.
Just roll
Starsha,
my eyes.
roll
Go
an
ahead.
intelligence check. You don't think that this is worth bringing up or telling anybody about or anything. It's just a potion. You don't.
No, that's what
It's
I'm
fine.
thinking too. I'm just rolling my eyes at Taladar. And I'm gonna walk out.
Okay, so Starsha goes for a stroll. Moss goes to the kitchen. Tox is going to the Arboretum. Taladar, I'm assuming you're going to work on spell scrolls.
I'll take one of these rugs that appears to be on the floor here, and sort of slide it to the side, fold it in half and in half again, and make sort of a sitting mat out of it, and just sit cross-legged on the floor with my spell book open, memorizing my spells for the next day.
Yeah, if you were to go through the wardrobe or the chests, they don't contain anyone's belongings. There are things like spare blankets. There's a couple of pillows in the wardrobe.
Okay.
A couple of spare cloaks, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'll make a little
Floor
squatting
nest.
nest on the floor and just chill out. I don't have the finances to actually transcribe any of these spell scrolls yet, so
Okay.
I'll spend some time studying them just for flavor and prep my spells for tomorrow, and that's it.
Okay. So,
Right.
Rin, what would you like to do then?
I am going down to the kitchen and get a bottle of wine.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Then I'm going to head up to Savra's room,
Ah,
Okay.
of course you would.
and I am going to knock on the door.
Okay, you knock on the door. Yes, hello? It is not Sabra's voice.
Oh!
Ooh.
Is it a male voice?
No, it's another woman.
Oh, all right. Put those two
It
together.
doesn't matter. It's not game. It's not a three-way. It's
She opens the door. Yes, can I help you?
Yes, I was looking for Savra.
Oh, I believe she's down in the Arboretum.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. We'll head down there.
Okay. You head down there. Tox, what are you doing in the Arboretum?
I'm just looking for water.
Yep. You see several. Whoops. Oh, what have I done? You see several large barrels of water. Let's just put you on here quick. There's several large barrels in the Arboretum. Easily, you could climb into one of the bigger ones.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, some of the acolytes. There's only a couple in here right now. Take notice of you, and don't pay you much mind until they see you climb into a barrel. Are you taking your clothes off first?
Yeah.
So yeah, they sort of watch you a little wide-eyed as you begin to one by one remove your clothing, and then jump into a barrel. They sort of look at each other like, what the hell? There is a strangely robed figure in here with a shaven head.
In the barrel?
No, in the room. Who sort of looks at you and just goes back to staring off out one of the windows.
Is it someone that we haven't seen before?
You haven't wandered around the tower as much, so I don't know that if you have seen one. He is not dressed like a knight, and he is not dressed like an acolyte.
Alright, I would just kind of take note of him and then just go back to relaxing in the water.
Okay.
I would like to find a quiet spot and try to identify my drift orb.
Okay. The quietest place in the building is probably going to be up on the pinnacle, outside, or in the Arboretum. There is only 1 or 2 acolytes at work in here, as in addition to the other guy that Tox has spotted. And while Tox is bathing, one of the acolytes leaves, so it's just Tox, 1 acolyte, and this strangely garbed individual.
Thought Savra's down there too. And in a minute it'll be Sir Lancelot.
Savra will be in there momentarily.
Yeah, no, I'm going
In fact-
upstairs.
Okay. In fact, Tox, while you were in the tub, Savra comes walking in. What you don't see on the map is that there are also several benches in here. And because the sun has gone down, it is quite dimly lit. There are a couple of hanging lanterns from beams in the ceiling. Shortly thereafter, Aranor makes his way into the Arboretum.
Can't bathe in peace.
I am going to head over to Savra.
Okay.
And first thing is I'm going to Divine Sense.
Okay, and what does Divine Sense do again? I can never remember.
Just detects evil, good or evil, within 60 feet. That's not behind cover.
It also gives you Celestial Fiend or Undead. So you step into this room, you cast Divine Sense, and you're not really picking anything up until you turn and look to the south. There is a strangely garbed individual who seems to be just staring out the window, and he sort of sets your senses on fire. You are detecting a strong aura of evil from this individual.
But nothing on Savra.
Nope.
Okay. I just so I go up to Savra and say, "Hello there. I just want to let you know that I've spoken with my friends, and seems like we will investigate the Earth cultists a little bit further. And I was just wondering if you want to share some wine with me."
Oh, I would love to.
Excellent.
And she bids you, come. There's a bench sort of over in the northern part of the room.
Okay.
Make a perception check, Aranor. You do notice a small amphibian head poking up from one of the barrels to the east. And you recognize that Tox is currently inside a large barrel of water.
I just ignore him.
Okay.
I ask Savra. I ask her, who is the gentleman down southward there.
The gentle. Oh, yes. He is one of the air cultists. I believe they. I don't know his name. He and a couple of others like him are here. They call themselves Hurricanes.
I see.
I tend to stay away from them. They're a bit odd.
Have you been... How has your time been here? Have you been questioned or anything like that?
Questioned? Not really. You mean when I joined the society or when we came here?
Yes, when you joined the society.
I joined the society back when we were still in Waterdeep.
Oh,
I have not returned to Waterdeep for some time.
got you.
But yes, there was a great deal of questioning before I joined. My intentions, who and what my family are. It's just, standard questions for joining any sort of organization, really. But the Feathergale Society sort of prides itself on letting your actions speak for you.
I see. I don't really have anything else. It was mainly just to do that divine sense, so just having a reason to... so I'll continue to small talk with her.
Give me an insight check.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, she seems to be forthright and, answering all your questions. At least with that roll.
Can I hear him from where I am?
How loudly are you guys talking?
What if I try a persuasion check on her?
Yeah, you guys are only 30 feet away. Tox can probably hear. What would you like her to... What are you trying to persuade her to do?
Just open up as much as possible. Maybe tell me something that, she's keeping to herself.
Try and persuade her. Tox, you can hear them.
Can I give Deebs bardic inspiration?
You can. How would you like to do it?
And just pop up and just start whistling.
What does that do again? Add D4?
A D6.
22? If he
Yeah.
can do it, I mean.
Well, yeah. What are you saying to persuade her?
Um.
Come on.
What are your thoughts on these cultists, these air cultist or air elemental individuals?
I don't care for them.
Why is that?
They're strange. Their ways are very. They're odd, and they don't sit right with me. Well, quite frankly, they give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like some of the things that they do. I understand why we need to work with them. But I don't like them one bit.
Well... Oh boy, should I do this?
That is up to you. You can always roll and let the dice decide.
No, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna tell her, well, just so you're aware, I do have an ability to sort of sense good or evil intentions in people. And I
Mhm.
can tell you that
Yes.
that gentleman at the down below in the south of us, he seems greatly evil.
She sort of looks down towards him, and she sort of leans close to you and says, "Yes, I'm not surprised. While I have not seen it myself, well, I've heard one of the acolytes speak about seeing one of them do despicable things.
And yet you ally with them?
It is the Lord Commander's will."
Have you noticed anything strange about the Lord Commander?
No, not that I can think of. I know how it must seem. We are working with these individuals reluctantly, but we are working with them. You must understand that they contain knowledge and power that we greatly need in order to deal with the corruption back in Waterdeep. It was not a decision that we or the Lord Commander took lightly.
Okay.
As you guys are speaking, the hurricane at the bottom of the room turns from staring out the window, looks towards the two of you, and towards the frog in the pot. Stares a little longer than you feel comfortable, and then makes his way out.
That gentleman indeed gives me the creeps as well.
Yes, they're an uncomfortable lot to be around.
Well, I appreciate this, you speaking to me. It's always nice to talk to a fellow Waterdeepian.
They're Waterdavians.
Waterdavian.
Waterdeepian.
Waterdeepian. It works.
Yes, of course. Most of the knights here are from Waterdeep, at least at some point in their lives, which is why we are all working together to remove this corruption, the evildoers, those in power that should not be.
Well, have a good evening and be safe, Savra.
You as well.
I'll head back
She
upstairs.
just sits on the bench and finishes off her glass of wine. Although you didn't grab glasses, just a bottle.
Yeah.
You've just been passing the bottle back and forth. Moss, what have you been doing in the kitchen?
Learn about peanuts.
So yeah,
I don't know
you've
if
been
there's
talking
anything else of interest in the kitchen that's caught my attention.
No, not really. Same as it was before. Lots of bread. You notice that several large piles of dough have been left to leaven. You assume that this is being put together to get ready for, bread in the oven in the morning. There are now several individuals in this room around this central cauldron that is creating a large amount of steam and vapor, and they are all they reach their hands into the mist and sort of pull it in towards their faces. There's a handful of acolytes, but there are a couple of these robed individuals.
Oh, all right. Moss is intrigued. Kind of just watches them. He asks I assume the cook is not by the cauldron, or is he?
No, he's sort of over by one of the tables.
I ask him with this, because it looks like I guess it's apparent they're not doing a stew or something.
No, they don't typically cook with that pot.
What are they doing?
He sort of, leans in close to you. They believe that the steam, the mists, empower them. That they are taking in the air and cleansing themselves.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a page out of the Taldar book. And we can't say it. I'm going to cast my Detect Magic.
Okay. Detect magic. I would say you are getting a very small trace of magic from 2 of these robed individuals. It is very minor. It is barely there.
But nothing from the mist or steam itself?
No, it appears to just be mist or steam.
I'm going to wander over and just casually ask what this ritual is for. Can I chat them up?
Yeah, so you head over to the pot. And you ask the closest individual, what's going on here? And let me just pull it up. The closest individual just tells you, we are inhaling, we are cleansing, we are becoming one with the steam. That's all he says. None of the others say anything.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Can I make a gesture? May I?
Yes, of course. Be welcome.
Moss is gonna go right head first over the cauldron and look what's inside and take a big face full of steam.
You get close to the cauldron. You stick your face right over it, and you are assaulted by a large gust of hot steam. It's not super hot. It's not super heated. There's no damage. Inside this cauldron appears to be just a big, it's a big cauldron of boiling water.
Gonna wash my face with a towel. That's really great for the pores.
The one beside you just sort of nods. None of the others say anything. They just continue to motion and bring the steam towards their face, taking large, deep breaths. Is anyone else doing anything tonight? Starsha, you went up onto the roof, yes?
Yes.
So you're up on the pinnacle. It is very dark. The clouds above you are sparse. But the mist has climbed. There's only one of these guys up here. The mist has climbed quite high. It reaches to just below this level of the tower. And looking out across the valley, it almost looks like you're looking at a rolling sea. You can see the stars and some clouds above, and then nothing but the rolling waves of clouds. The wind has died down a bit. It's not quite so windy out here. And while it's a little chilly, it's not cold enough that you would need, heavy furs or anything. What is it that you wanted to do?
Identify the drift globe.
All right. So you sit down, maybe leaned against one of the curved pillars that surround the stairway, and you pull the drift globe out of your bag. It's not very large. It's about the size of like a 5-pin bowling ball. It's quite light. And it has some runes and markings on it. Do you have the identify spell?
I do.
All right. If you were to cast identify, you would instantly learn that the word that activates this thing is lumen.
Go figure.
So, holding the globe, you say what you believe is the activation word, lumen, and the globe lights up softly and begins to hover just above your hand.
Oh. That's nice. So it's like a flashlight or like a torch?
It's brighter than that. Let me put the stats here for it. Yeah, so it's a small sphere of very thick glass, weighs about a pound. You only have to be within 60 feet of it. You speak the command word and it causes it to give off light, or you can use it to cast the daylight spell. But you can only use use it to cast daylight once a day.
Huh, that's cool.
The command word is simply rise, to get it to rise up into the air. And it will float 5 feet off the ground unless you direct it otherwise. It follows you around, so if you move 60 feet, it will follow you. If for whatever reason it can't follow you, like if you were to go into another room and close the door, it would try to follow you, and then it would just, gently drop to the ground and go out. So now you have a working drift globe.
Nice. Now, what I wonder now is, why did it have that weird rune attached to it?
You think it's just the nature of enchanting the globe itself in order to turn it into a drift globe. It has something to do with the magic of the device itself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if it's powered by these runes, but you figure it has something to do with the enchantment.
Okay. If I'm looking down over the wall, will I see anything going on down there?
If you move up to the edge of this top platform, there is no railing.
Ooh,
So
scary.
you walk out to the very edge and look down. You can make out the edge of the roof that is on the level below you. It sticks out maybe 10 feet from the tower. And then you can just make out the drawbridge below, and anything below that is completely obscured by the mists. You can't see to the valley floor at all. It's about 400 and... Well, from where you are, it's about 450 to 500 feet all the way down to the valley basin. And from here, it's about... It's about 100 feet to the ground that this tower sits on.
I forgot about the mist.
Yep. You do recall that during the day, the mists aren't really a thing. They sort of gather as the sun begins to go down. You do notice a lone knight on a giant vulture, circling the tower, patrolling.
So I noticed that there's still an well, I don't want to say undiscovered, but an unexplored room on the bottom level.
Yes, you recall that there is a room that you have not been in down there.
Maybe now would be a good time when everybody's asleep.
Yeah, you can make your way down there. What is the bottom here? You make your way down to the Arboretum level. You can peek your head into the Arboretum. You notice that there doesn't seem to be anyone but one acolyte currently in there, unless Tox is still in his bathtub.
No, I would have gone back.
Yeah, so you poke your head in, you just notice one acolyte, working in there, tending to flowers or whatever. You know that the door directly to the south leads to a bunkhouse of sorts for acolytes. You haven't been to the door in the north, but you do recall smells of bread baking and meat roasting coming from there earlier, so you assume it's the kitchen. You could go in there if you want. You know that the large doors to the west, lead to the main entry hall into the tower. And that is where there is a room to the south.
Yes, that's the room.
So you make your way, are you making your way to the entry hall then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In this entry hall currently, there are two acolytes in sort of formal attire. Most of the ones that you've seen are just wearing sort of acolytes' robes. These ones, I guess, while they are at work or on duty, are dressed slightly differently. They have sort of cloaks that have feathered edges on them. There is also one Feathergale Knight near the main gate, or near the main doors.
Mm. You know what? I'm just gonna walk to the door like I own the place.
You try the door. It is locked. The man
Knock.
beside you says, "Can I help you?" Because he
I'll
clearly
ask.
sees you trying to get in that room.
Tell him I seem to have misplaced my key.
Oh, have you become a member of the Feathergale Society?
No, but I have special privileges.
Roll a deception check. He is quite dumb. Oh. Well here, let me get that for you. And he unlocks
you.
the door for you. As he's unlocking the door and letting you in, the knight further along in the room turns to say, What are you two doing? Why are you unlocking the door? Oh, she's got special permission from the Lord Commander. I see. Did you verify that with anyone? No, but she said. I see, she said. Well, since you have special permission, let me escort you beyond. And he pushes the door open, and inside you see the armory.
Oh, it's where they keep their stuff.
Mm.
He says, as you can see, here's where we keep our arms, armaments, training weapons for the acolytes, any gear that we are not currently using while we are on duty. And yeah, everything you see in here indicates that this is exactly what it is. It is an armory. There's a series of arrows and a bucket or a barrel full of, a rack of bows and a barrel of arrows beside it. Several sets of armor, some leather, some plate, training instruments, shields, helms.
Does anything stick out to me?
Yeah, let me see. No, it looks like there's it's all standard gear. There's nothing.
Oh,
You're
boring.
not getting a sense of anything, special or magical.
Alright, well, after I take a quick look around,
Mhm.
I'd say, well, everything seems to be in order.
Of course it is.
Sassy much.
He just sort of gestures to you towards the door. After you.
Thank you.
And walks out behind you, closes and locks the door. Is there anything that anyone else would like to do?
Two things. I'm currently by the cauldron, and I'm going to do pull a Gandalf move. And does Druidcraft give me like enough control to make shapes in the mist?
Druidcraft? No, that would be sort of like shape water, kind of.
Okay, then no, he's not going to do anything about that. But I am going to. I don't know if I have to go to the traders down below or above, wherever they were. Looking for materials or components for doing augury. Augury? How do I pronounce that?
It's augury. What is it that the spell requires?
Specially marked sticks, bones, or similar tokens worth at least 25 gold pieces.
Does
I
the
assume this
spell
is something
use them up?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I just need some divining tool that costs 25 gold pieces. And I don't. This is sticks or bones or cards. So I assume that's not used up, but I don't know how to tell. I guess I could like this. How do I like this?
It's not. I mean, it's typically when a spell has a like a dollar amount, a cost of something, if that item is used in the spell, like used up, it is something that you need to go and buy. If it is something that the spell just uses, but you can reuse every time you want to cast it, I would say that you normally have it. Do you think that he would have either crafted, or I would imagine they'd be crafted. Do you think that he would have made his own, rune stones or carved bones over the years? Or is this spell new to him?
I would have said, well, he would have learned it from his grandfather, so probably got something from his grandfather to do it.
Yeah, then I would say that you have something.
Okay. That's all.
Okay. Anyone else?
Nope.
All right. So you guys all, after some time, return to the quarters that were provided to you. And you bed down for the night. Who is sleeping where? Nope, that's the wrong one. There are 2 large beds in this room. Neither Taladar nor Starsha need to sleep, although I'm sure they both enjoy laying in bed. I don't know why Starsha's on the roof.
I get in that bed and then tap the other side, looking at Starsha.
Moss takes that as an invitation and just, boom, other side of the bed.
All right,
Just gonna sprawl out over here.
Moss
Talks
and
us.
Aranor are in one bed. Tox is in the center of his bed. Starsha, what are you and Taladar doing? And Aranor, are you taking all of your gear off?
Yes, Aranor, are you taking all your gear off?
Your heavy
Yeah, I'm not gonna sleep in
armor.
my chainmail.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Moss also takes all of his gear off.
Oh god.
All right. Does he leave anything on?
We're sleeping face to face, Moss.
Tip to tip.
Tip to tip.
Moss just shrugs. He has
Taladar,
no
what are you
intentions
supposed to
here.
do?
Just like, he said, he gestured to someone take this out of the bed and took you up on it. First time he's actually never shared a bed with anyone. He's ever shared a bed with anyone, so.
Moss
He doesn't know decorum.
He is a relatively large, medium-sized creature.
That snores.
And Aranor, you are not a tiny man. While this bed is large enough for 2 people, it is uncomfortably close quarters.
I'm gonna sleep on the floor.
So after laying in bed with Moss for 5-ish minutes, you decide that you'd be better served just sleeping on the
Okay,
rug.
Moss is gonna do a little bit of grace here, and it's gonna disguise self. Look a little bit smaller.
While disguise self will change your appearance,
I said look a little bit smaller.
your physical form remains unchanged, and though you might appear as a slender man, he can still feel your hairy thighs behind his. So now Aranor decides he's going to sleep on the floor. Starsha and Taladar, are you climbing into either bed, or are you just going to meditate all night?
No, I don't think the beds are any options right now.
I mean, Tox doesn't take up much room. He's like 2'8".
He refuses to lick my weapons.
He could lick him all he wanted. It won't do anything for him. I'm going to
Yeah,
assume that you guys are just meditating.
I'd be meditating.
Okay.
I just have one question about these scrolls that
Uh-huh.
I've obtained. The one that I purchased, as well as the other two that were given to me. Are they scrolls that can be used in, like, can you cast the spell directly from the scroll, or are they transcribed spells?
Both.
Because there's
If you use the spell to cast directly from it, it will use it up.
okay, because there's a huge difference in my ability to transcribe those. If they are castable spell scrolls, I have to make a Arcana check, 10 plus the DC 10 plus the level of the spell, and if I fail it, it just disappears, and I'm out the cash.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that happen. You can transcribe them the way that you would any other spell scroll.
Okay.
It's
I
just
mean,
if,
'cause
you, if you cast from the scroll, it will
Mhm.
use the scroll.
Right.
All right, so you guys all bed down for the evening. Nobody has decided to take watch. You feel like you're safe enough in here with the door locked. You fools.
I mean, 2 of us are not even asleep, so we're just
True, but you
kinda
are deep in
meditating.
trance for at least 4 hours.
It'll be fine.
The next thing you know, dawn is pouring through the unshuttered windows.
Oh, do we long rest?
Yeah, you'll all get a long rest, so push your long rest buttons. This morning, wind has died down considerably. All right. Looking out the window, the mists have cleared. I can't get rid of them on the map, but they are not there. You can easily see, well, you can't from this vantage point, but you can look out the window across the valley and see that the mists are greatly diminished. As the sun rises, they begin to burn away. You're all long rested, refreshed. Tox has recovered his nice moist skin. What would you guys like to do?
Well, oh, I do let them know. So, Les, there is a gentleman in this tower that I sensed was greatly evil. One of the cultists. I'm a little leery about leaving Savra and the other knights, but I feel like we should probably investigate that river stronghold or the earth cultist location.
They were fine before we came. They'll be fine after we leave.
We could ask her to come with us.
We could.
It's a good idea.
She might have insight. And is that where we're going? Have we all decided that we're going to the
That's my suggestion.
Earth cultists?
I'm somewhat bound to that path, given I've already received payment for it. And by the way, these 2 scrolls that I received, one of them is likely worth a decent amount of coin, and I have little interest in, well, I have some interest in learning it, but it would fetch some coin, and that might be more useful to all of us in the short term.
What is required for you to learn it?
More gold than I have?
How much gold?
What's it do?
Well, it allows. He pulls the scroll out, and and unrolls it. And I think I've got to make an Arcana check to decipher it because it's higher than a level I can cast.
Yeah, make Arcana check.
Arcana.
The other ones are of levels you can use.
Damn.
Yep, no problem. You know exactly what this is.
Yeah, wizard shit. This spell allows the target of it to fly for a period of time. Now, that's something that, we could cast once with this scroll. I might be able to cast it now, but I'm uncertain. It's also something I could learn to cast repeatedly in the future. However, it is, by my assessment, worth quite a bit. So, if we need the coin, I suppose we could sell it, although I would be against it. It is payment for services rendered by the group. And the other scroll, and he unrolls that one, I'm not entirely certain. He unrolls it, he kind of just shows it to the group, and it is, I think Beast Bond is a Ranger Druid Bard spell?
I believe so.
I'm just looking it up.
Would I know what it is?
Let me see.
If I remember, it's a Druid and Ranger. Yeah, so it's Druid and Ranger, and if I remember correctly, if it's a spell you can cast, like if it's a spell your class has access to, even if you don't currently have it, it is a scroll you could cast. Like you'd be able to
Even
identify
at a higher level?
It's a first level spell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a first level spell, and if it's not something that you have currently prepared, Moss, druids sort of have access to everything, and they just decide what to take in the morning or after a long rest. So if you don't have it prepared, you could read from the scroll and cast it as if you did have it prepared. However, doing that would use up the scroll.
And so you'd recognize it, and Taladar would just say, it might be worth some coin. It might be worth something to you. I'm not sure.
I've never used scrolls before. If you require coin, then I suggest you sell it.
Very well. And then this, and he produces one final scroll. I would very much like to transcribe this. However, while I might be able to buy the materials required to transcribe it, I cannot afford it. It's roughly 100 gold more than I currently have. So I'll have to wait. I will say, though, it is something that could potentially help us in combat.
Starsha, how much is this ring worth? I show her the ring that I got from the Lord Commander.
Starsha, give me an investigation check.
Damn, she's smart.
22. You think you could easily get about 250 gold for this ring?
Can I have
No peanut butter.
Taladar roll a charisma check
For what?
to see how? That's a good question. I don't know if I can allowed to do this. I'll say that Moss has the gold, and if it was anyone else who was saying they needed gold, he would just give it to them. And Moss is torn whether he should give Taladar the gold. So
I know that's fair. I'm kind of asking, I'm kind of saying I've got a spell that I could learn that might help us out, and I'm kind of asking the party if they wouldn't mind fronting me some money, but I'm not actually asking. But I'd be okay rolling a persuasion check on that, or even just a straight charisma check. I'm not actually
whatever.
Just straight charisma sounds fair. Is that okay?
Yeah, I would do straight charisma.
Cool. Not good, not bad.
It's above 50%. That's, it's 75%. Like, It's up to Moss, though.
I will say Taladar is being sort of very earnest and open about it. You know, being logical about it, being something that could help us. And he will proceed to explain the spell. Just for fun, I will post it there. It's a little bit of it's a single target crowd control.
Moss just pulls out his purse and just dumps it all on the bed, which consists of 164 gold, 43 silver, 15 copper. And is this enough?
Talar just kind of looks at it wide-eyed and looks up at you and just kind of blinks, like, you know, without saying it, like, I thought you hated me.
Moss is very neutral about it. He's not giving anything away.
Let's see. Copying a spell scroll, 2 hours and 50 gold piece per level of the spell. So I would need 100, and I have 21. He just kind of looks at it and pokes through it with a finger and says, "It's more than enough," but he just kind of leaves the sentence hanging and looks at you.
Moss looks flatly at Teller again. How much do you need?
100 should be enough. 100 gold. And I would need 4 hours, but that could be tonight.
Aranor flicks the ring to him and says, "Here, sell this. That should help you with the other scroll."
The other scroll can wait. Mechanically, out of play, I need 2 more levels before I could even transcribe it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3rd level spell, and I won't have access to that until we're level 5.
I'll hold on to the ring. Then.
Keep the ring for now.
Yeah, I'll hold on to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping we have, we make some money. That's another thing.
And I'm also going to point out that if this is something that was held by the commander, that might be useful later for a token of some kind.
That's
incredibly
clever.
Smart for one of your
surprisingly clever.
So you guys, have some discussion in the morning. Starsha, you appraise the ring for him. Some money is exchanged. Moss, you provide Taladar with the cash that he needs to either buy components or help transcribe this spell, which you can begin doing at any time. And then you, the smell of breakfast, sausages and toast and melting cheeses wafts up the stairwell and beneath the door.
You kind of hear just Moss kind of mutter, "It's a few fewer nights in those comfy beds." Moss is beginning to experience civilization, and he likes it.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's head down to breakfast.
You guys head down the stairs into the grand dining hall. And the Lord Commander is already in there. There are a couple of knights on duty patrolling around in there. Let's move you down there. He says, good morning. I trust that your rest was good. Excellent. Well, come and have a seat.
Aranor, did you sleep well? You
no, my
left
back
the bed.
hurts. My back hurts. God damn it. Stings.
Why is your back, or was the bedding not to your liking?
Well, you see, look at this large person here. He needed the bed for himself, so I took the floor.
Moska looks around, like trying to figure out who you're talking about.
If you can't
Not
find
large.
the person you're talking about, you know it's you.
average size of a furbolg, according to my grandfather.
I think, yeah, we had discussed you're not overly large for a furbolg, are you?
I can't remember. I was going to say that though.
I mean, you're bigger than everyone else in the group by a few inches. Yes, he encourages you to join him at the table. There's quite a spread. There's, pancakes, there's jams, there's clotted cream, there's cheeses, eggs, grilled breakfast meats. Yes, I did want to speak with you further. I spoke briefly with Taladar here last night about some of my concerns and the goings on in the valley. He has made it clear to me that he would be interested in taking, not a quest, but doing some investigation on behalf of the Feathergale Society, looking into this damned cult of stone and their doings. Have you had a chance to discuss with your companions?
Oh, as I told you, I am your humble servant on this task, and I believe they will accompany me. Although I leave it to them to speak for themselves. And he just kind of nods and shuts up.
Yeah, he sort of looks to each of you, Aranor sort of specifically. What say you?
We will embark on this quest and investigate this stronghold.
Excellent. I assure you I will make it worth your while. You will be compensated handsomely.
Well, as long as I get to smite evil.
Of course, that is the best part. And you, Sir Frogman. He turns to look at you, Tox.
Uh-huh.
Will you be joining your companions in this investigation?
You have given the impression that this is where slaves or people kidnapped have been taken?
I believe so, yes. We have spotted the riverboats more than once or twice, carrying individuals downriver.
And did you attempt to stop them?
Yes, on several occasions. We have skirmished with these cultists many times before. Sometimes we are successful, others not. As in the case of the rock cairns that you have discovered out on one of the hills to the south, which we have recovered our individual from.
So did we get the full relay from Aranor about the evil dude?
Yeah, he told you this morning that there was a dude, an evil-sounding dude.
Moss is going to ask the commander whether the air cultists regularly assist on defending the keep, or how
he sort of
they
looks around. Yes.
how they deal with the air cultists.
They are often out. We don't have any direct control. They are not under my command. Though if they are in the tower, they are tasked with defending it should we ever be attacked, or if griffins or manticores approach the tower. But they do often go out with our knights when dealing with these other cultists.
And who's in charge of the air cultists in the tower?
They sort of... they come and go, all of them, as they please. They don't have any direct leadership here in the tower, although the priests are the sort of head of their order. They take directions from them.
Moss is going to finish breakfast early and go to the arboretum, grab a leaf, and go back up to his room. And I'll let you tell me when you want to pick that up.
Okay. He sort of looks to the rest of you. Well, he would have asked you, Moss. Are you in then?
Yes, but I need some time to think.
Of course. Take all the time that you need. You, young lady. What do you say?
I will join my travel mates.
Excellent. I am glad to hear it. We can provision you for any goods you might need for traveling. And as I said, you will all be well compensated for this task. You are welcome to stay in the tower as long as you like. Though I would suggest looking into this matter sooner rather than later. Before more trouble finds itself in the valley.
Well, time is of the essence if they do have prisoners, so
Yes.
we will head there immediately.
Yeah, so you guys, finish up your breakfast. You're free to do whatever you want after that. You have been given the room for as long as you plan on staying in the tower. Bri, we will switch back to you and Moss up in the room. What is it that you're doing?
Okay, so I've grabbed a leaf, and I am inspecting the leaf with my grandfather's magnifying glass as my divination component for augury, which I think was quite
Okay.
clever, by the way.
Mhm.
And looking at the patterns of the leaf, trying to glean some wisdom. And I'd like to know whether it's wise to confront the commander about the evil priest from yesterday.
Okay.
So this is a ritual, I guess, so I don't use a spell slot.
Yeah,
Right,
you don't have
understood.
to use the spell slot. I don't believe.
I basically just want to play augury once and just see how it works. I guess I should cast it.
Can you ritually cast it? Casting time? Oh no, yeah, you can. Okay.
Where is it?
And so what you're wanting to know is if you should, what would be the result of confronting the Lord Commander about these priests?
Yes. Well, particularly the evil priest.
Well, you don't know about an evil priest. The only individual that Aranor sensed evil from was that hurricane in the Arboretum.
Sorry, Hurricane, who's... That's what I thought he was a
the
priest.
one in weird. No, he was the one in weird robes and a shaved head.
Okay, so he wasn't part of the air cultists.
No, he is. He's not a priest, though.
Okay.
So you cast the spell, and for a minute it's leaning towards wheel, but not in a strong enough way to give you direction. You don't really get results that are good or bad. So you get the sense that confronting him about it or asking him wouldn't have any negative repercussions. But it also wouldn't necessarily be giving you good results. You would just get an answer.
Okay. I'm just waiting for the group to rejoin me, I guess, in the room.
Okay. Yep, so you all finish your breakfast. You guys can do as you please from this point. What would you like to do next?
Unless anyone else wants to do anything, we can head out.
Should we take a look in the armory and see if there's anything useful?
Are you
Ooh.
asking Savra to come with you?
Oh
I was
yeah.
gonna just say, do we want to task her?
Yeah.
Before we do, like, is that something we discuss together?
Yeah, you as players talked about it. I don't know if you as characters did.
Yeah. Let me. Okay.
You can all reconvene in the room to have a
I
chat.
think I'd suggested it as Moss last time, but I don't think we talked about it.
Well,
Yeah. So we'll convene in the room, and I'll ask, what are your thoughts on taking Savra with us?
Moss just, I thought it was a good idea as of last night. Nothing's changed since then.
does that mean you won't need your blanket? She'll keep you warm at night. I could use an extra blanket.
No, but I'm still working on it.
How is that going to help keep warm? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, don't worry about it, Moss. Don't worry. I'm just a bit concerned leaving her here, especially since my order sent me to find her. I feel that I have a reason to keep her safe.
Well, you seem to have a way with people. I could charm her to come with us. I don't know how well it'll go. Or I could give you a little advantage.
I don't want to. We don't need to. We don't need to charm her.
Well, then let's give you a little advantage.
We'll ask her.
Taladar will mutter a incantation while tracing a sigil in the air, holding his spell focus, and cast enhance ability on Aranor. Let's do Eagle's Splendor. For the next hour, you have advantage on charisma checks.
Nice.
I'll be your wingman.
All right. Well, Tox, Starsha, your thoughts?
The more the merrier.
What could it hurt?
All right. I'll go find Savra.
I'm going to walk with her, Aranor until just before we fall. When we find Savra, and give him some parting words of advice.
Okay.
You
You head down. She is on duty in the main hallway, in the entrance hallway.
All right, so his approach, I just kind of grab Aranor and listen. Just remember, it's very rude to leave a bed when someone's sharing it with you. Keep that in mind when you're talking to her.
Wow.
And I give him guidance.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Amazing.
Good lord.
Don't fuck this up.
So yeah, you find Savra on duty in the entrance hall. She's manning the front door.
Okay. Say, good morning, Savra.
Yes, good morning. I hope you all slept well.
I slept on the floor due to my large
Why
friend.
would you sleep on the floor?
My large friend took the bed.
There was another bed.
Moss just like face palms behind.
The frog was in the other bed.
The tiny one?
Yeah.
Why would you not share? It is none of my business. Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask you if you would like to travel with us to investigate this Earth cultist. You might provide some valuable information.
Oh.
Can I try and make a persuasion check, or what kind
Well,
of check would I do?
I would be happy to go with you, but
Oh.
it is not my decision. I would need to check with my commanding officer.
Okay. Is that the
you
Lord
could-
Commander, or
Yes.
I can speak to the Lord Commander if you'd like.
Excellent. Yes. I would very much like to join you.
Oh, perfect. All right, let's find the Lord Commander.
Yeah, he's back up in the dining room. So you and Moss head up there.
Lord Commander.
And we
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, we can hand wave it. If you ask the Lord Commander, he would say, while I don't feel comfortable sparing too many men, I could let you have one. I think Savra could go with you if she so chooses.
Perfect.
So yes, you can take Savra with you.
All right. Easy money.
Seeing that Aaron was successful, Moss gives him a high five, fist bump, whichever. Says, you told me to cheer his bed, right?
You told him what?
Aranor blushes. Oh, no. He misunderstood.
So yeah, you guys have decided that this is the route that you're going to take. Is there anything left that you would like to do at the tower before you head out? They have provided you, well, once you are ready to leave, they will provide you with, food for travel, water skins, any additional, camping supplies, traveling supplies that you might need. Is there anything in addition to that you would like to either purchase or ask for?
Are we waiting for the 4 hours for Taladar to inscribe, or?
That's up to you guys. I don't know what Taladar is doing.
My goal would be to transcribe that spell. It takes 4 hours. If you guys are okay waiting till basically noon, he would just sit and bang it out. Otherwise, he'll try and do it when we set camp tonight. Either way, I can't cast it today, so it doesn't really matter. But I'd like to do it before I, we take another long rest.
That was just a question. I mean, whatever. I don't care if we leave an hour later.
Yeah, like basically, if everything we did took until noon, Taladar would just kind of sit down and knock it out. Otherwise, he'll just do it when we set camp tonight.
I think Starsha wanted to check out the armory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's say that you plan on giving Taladar the 4 hours. That gives you guys enough time to, get your stuff packed, check out the armory, ask any last-minute questions. The Lord Commander, when you went to see him and ask if Savra could come, says, I will provide you with what few maps we have to this location. So while you're waiting on that, yes, you can definitely check out the armory. Who would like to go? Who's going to the armory?
I'll go.
Me too.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
So, you guys head down to the armory. There's not much to see in this room. It is just a storeroom for combat supplies. There's ranged weaponry in it, as well as ammunition. There's swords, pikes, spears, a few sets of armor, items for repairing, like leather armor. There's helms. Anything combat related you would find in this room. Is there anything specifically that you guys need?
I am looking for plate mail armor.
Plate mail armor. There is a set of plate mail armor in here. And the quartermaster would tell you, yes, I could loan it to you. It is not something I'd be able to sell you, but I definitely could loan it to you. The Lord Commander has given permission for anything here to be loaned out in service for the Feathergale Society. So yeah, if you want to set a plate mail, you can have it.
I'll take it.
Excellent.
I
It
wouldn't
is-
mind, when I'm done with my transcribing, just purchasing a Dungeoneers or Explorers pack. It occurs to me that Taladar doesn't have basics like a bedroll or a mess kit or torches, because he
Yeah,
started
that-
with a Scholars pack.
That is something that can be provided for you without charge. That
Okay.
it would fall under, provisions for travel and stuff.
I will add the Explorers pack then. Thank you.
Yeah, so add an explorer's pack. Aranor, you are loaned a set of plate mail armor, so add that in your character sheet.
I did.
Is there anything else? So time has passed then. Taladar has finished transcribing whatever he needed to transcribe. It's now roughly noon, just shortly thereafter. And Savra says, well, let us make our way down to the stables.
Excellent.
She brings you down to the stable level and says, well, 3 of you, of course, should be familiar at this point. The others, we can do this a couple of ways. Moss, was it? You, of course, would not be able to share with anyone, nor would Aranor, but the rest of you are small enough that you could share mounts. I could take another with me, and 2 of you could share a mount. So yeah, Moss and Aranor will get their own. She has her mount, and she can take one of you who would like to go with her.
Tux, do you know how to fly one of these?
I'm the best.
There it is.
Right. Well, Starsha, would you like to ride with the lady, and I'll hug the frog, I suppose.
Yes, I will glad with her.
And I
Excellent.
will, I don't know, find a cloak or something to wrap my hands, any exposed skin, so if I have to touch him, I don't die.
Well, he's wearing clothes.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. I don't know, I'll see if I can find a pair of gloves or something.
Yeah, she can provide you with riding gloves if you needed it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you, Taladar and Starsha are introduced to the mounts that you're going to be riding, because both hippogriffs and griffins will not let anyone ride them if they are not previously introduced. They give you a nod in greeting, and everybody mounts up. And once everyone is set, you guys set out. It is looking like it is going to be a beautiful day. The sun is shining. The mists at this point have long since burned off. The Lord Commander has provided you with a rough map of the area. We'll put you back on the big map. There we go. So where the marker is roughly where the tower is. And Aranor, I'll say that you have the map. Savra already knows generally what direction to head. And so she leads you. Let me just pull that up.
I don't mind that.
You don't mind what?
Her leading me.
Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the map that I need.
The red dragon token, that's where we're at right now, right?
That's right. I need the map that has the DM information on it.
Yeah. We need that too.
No, you don't. Sorry, it's just taking me a minute. There we go. Okay. She indicates that you guys are going to be heading to the southeast, towards the Desserin River. She knows it to be in the vicinity of the river. So you guys spend the better part of the day flying around, also keeping an eye out for, chimera and griffins in the valley and any other flying threats.
What altitude are we flying at?
You guys are probably, if you're in the valley, you're probably about 250 feet up. With the mists gone, you can get much closer to the valley basin. And so you're in the Sighing Valley for a while before you head out. You exit the valley to the south of where the marker is, and then it's sort of just green rolling hills below that. You stop periodically throughout the day to rest your mounts and to stretch your legs, have a bite to eat. You guys didn't set out until about 12:30. So as the day wears on, you approach the river. It is much closer now, easy to spot from the air. And you begin following Savra down to descend. She tells you the keep is a few miles to the north, closer to the river. But we should approach on foot. We wouldn't want to be spotted from the air, or spotted from the ground.
Who will look after the hippogriffs?
The hippogriffs will stay here. They don't need looking after. They can fend for themselves. They are smart enough to not wander too far. They may hunt, but they will return here to await our return.
Gonna give mine a nice pat and a good berry.
Ah. It sort of eyes you a little bit and nods his head before taking the good berry. Doesn't mind your head patting. She says, we have some time before the sun sets. Should we venture further and get a look at this keep, or should we make camp?
Let's get a look. It'll be
you guys
easier.
leaving
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
leaving the mounts behind. You guys make your way on foot a few miles. Takes about another half an hour or so before you see a much closer look at the river. And I'll just bring up a picture for you. As you approach the river, you can see that there is a relatively large, looks like sturdy, strong castle on the banks of the Desserin River. She tells you this is what we believe is known as Riverguard Keep. You can see it looks like there's 3 tall sort of towers. One of them seems to be in a sort of state of disrepair. The walls look very sturdy, and it looks like the edge of the castle comes right up, or the grounds anyway, right to the river's edge. There is a gatehouse with, a structure above it. The walls are built right up to the water's edge. There are some boats on the bank of the river outside of the castle's walls. And you can see what looks like a tall mast sticking up from a ship that must be docked inside the castle's walls. As you carefully approach, it looks like the front gate is closed. You can make out, even at this distance, what looks like guards patrolling the walls. I'll show you a picture. I'll put it in Discord. So that is what you see. Sov returns to you and says, "We should make camp and decide on a course of action."
Moss kind of scratching his head. And this is where the Earth cultists are?
No, this is where we're not sure exactly who's inside. We know that the Earth cultists have been using the waterways to transport people, supplies, kidnap victims, slaves. And we think they're being brought to this location. Now, whether they are based here or if it's somebody else, slave traders or other cultists, we're not entirely sure. We just know that the Earth cult has been using the waterways. And the waterways lead to this point.
All right.
Let's head back and make camp.
Sounds good.
So you guys head back the half an hour to where you left your mounts and begin to set up camp. You're in sort of a small copse of trees. There's no road anywhere near here. You're sort of in the middle of nowhere. And you begin to set up camp. You guys settle in. You set up camp. You've got a couple of tents, bedrolls, provisions. Savra begins to set up the cook pot to cook something. Oh yes, I should change the music. It's not as windy. We can get rid of that. And you guys settle down for an evening of rest before heading out in the morning. Savra says to you, we should definitely keep watch tonight. I don't mind taking the first watch.
Sure.
I can take the one after you.
And I'll take the last.
Excellent. Well, we should get some rest. I don't know what we're going to encounter tomorrow. And she bids you all to take what rest you can. She sits up and stokes the fire, and you guys turn to your bedrolls or tents. And we'll make a roll for her. So the first bit of the watch passes quietly. It is very quiet out here. You do hear the sound of crickets, night insects. You think you hear some bats cheeping as they hunt. And once or twice during the night, you think that you hear the sound of wolves, perhaps. Savra wakes Moss for his turn at the watch. Make a perception check, Moss. "23. The night is quiet. You do hear wildlife. You tend to the coals to keep a small fire going. And the night passes fairly uneventfully until you hear the snap of a twig coming from someplace off in the brush.
Oh, have I reset spells yet, or am I still?
Yeah, you should have long rested.
Well, you long rested last night. You haven't cast anything today, have you, other than guidance?
I always cast kind of good berries before I take the night.
Yeah, you would have done that before you went to bed last night.
But I guess what I want to know is would I have time to change my spells or not?
Well, you would have. When do you normally prepare your spells? First thing in the morning or before you go to bed?
I actually don't know. What's more reasonable?
Most people do them after a long rest because changing your spells before.
So I was trying to tweak my spells, so I still have the spells from before the rest. Okay, that's fine. I just want to know what I've got and what I don't have. Fix that. I'm going to shake someone awake that's got dark vision. Probably Starsha's got dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shake her awake and ask if she sees anything out there.
Starsha, roll perception. You sort of come out of your trance much earlier than expected. And you begin to look out into the brush and beyond, wondering what it was that Moss had seen or heard. And you don't see anything until you spot a glint in the darkness. It looks like someone is out there.
What if I went towards it all stealthily?
Roll stealth.
I'm going to also go with her. I'm going to roll. I'm going to switch into what's a wild form? It's
No, just stay. Just stay.
Well, he can go if he wants, unless he's willing to listen to you and stay behind. Moss, it is up to you. But Starsha becomes super sneaky and begins to creep towards whatever it was she saw. Are you going with her?
I am. I'm going to switch to a panther.
Okay. So shifting, as you've seen him do a couple of times now, in a matter of seconds, Moss is replaced by a sleek black panther. And you guys head off in the direction that Starsha believes she spotted something. Starsha, you get no more than maybe 20 feet before you hear a loud cry and shapes come crashing out of the brush. I'm going to need you to roll for initiative. However, we are approaching our stop point, and so I think we will start with combat in our next session.
Nice.
Nice.
I don't want to start combat that we can't end soon. So yeah, it's a good stopping point for us.
All right, I'm gonna stop the stream.